Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Menace is a serious game about stealth espionage and being a tycoon manager. In this game, you play as Venom Snake, Big Boss, or John Gear, who is an animal conservationist and occasional demolition expert. In this game, you are trying to take down the Hamburglar, who ruined your life by blowing up your base, as well as his friends, consisting of Psyche K, Porcus D Ace, a silent sniper, and an army of considerable size. You begin by waking up in the hospital, not knowing where you are or what's going on around you.
Please listen and try not to panic.
Turns out you've been asleep for 9 years and still have all your muscle mass through what the doctors call really good massages. You also find that you were the first one to fall asleep at the sleepover because you were turned into an actual human pincushion and may have had your arm removed because the doctor was a little bit hungry during the operation. After reacting to that in a calm manner, you have to change your face because you're literally wanted by everyone in the entire world. After some quick modifications, you plan for yourself to look like what can be described as a Neanderthal or an Easter Island head. Your doctor then trips and tells you that he will change your face in another life, and you get saved from getting killed by some guy who really likes showing his ass to the camera, before he throws piss pans and flammable liquid at your assailant. She then proceeds to jump out a window calmly. You then have to crawl because your legs don't work, and your friend just kind of watches you as you struggle. This is the fireman. He walks towards you menacingly, but then also forgets that he is in fact weak to water and stands directly under a sprinkler. He then dies. You then meet some friendly faces, then some more, and then turns out the fireman didn't die, but you splash a little water on him again, so he leaves. Now it's time to leave the building. Nope, just kidding. Psycho Mantis blocks the way. These guys hold their guns sideways to look cool, and then proceed to shoot the guy who can reflect bullets back at them. Time to play the game. Nope, never mind. That was exactly 3 seconds of gameplay before the flame dude is hit into a staircase in a cutscene. You leave, but he doesn't like that, so he throws fire trucks at you, which in retrospect, he might have been a little mad from the whole getting hit with an ambulance thing. After getting into a small car crash, your friend abandons you, and when getting attacked by a helicopter, he actually uses a giant flaming whale to eat the helicopter, because he really wants that kill on you, man. And you get saved by Mr. Wild West himself. Then ensues a horse chase with a Western Ghost Rider. And then God smites you, because even God wants you dead apparently. You then get told to save your friend from 9 years back, who has been patiently waiting for you this whole time. His name's Kazuhiro Miller. Or,
They played us like a damn fiddle!
yeah, that guy. So ensues an Indiana Jones-esque travel sequence, where you get a robot arm in 1984 that works just as good as any old arm, sometimes even better. After arriving on horseback with the creatively named D-Horse, you arrive in Afghanistan, and after a little bit of stealth and getting to Miller, he seems to be missing a couple of pieces from the last time you saw him, which makes you wonder, damn, did that hungry surgeon get him too? Anyway, you give him his shades so he won't explode from light apparently, and go to the extract. But what's that? The bad guys are there. It's the Skulls unit. A bunch of people who have superpowers from a virus that makes them so that if they speak, they'll die. And they also help to destroy your base 9 years back. So you just kind of leave and extract Miller. But as you leave, you have a flashback to hit prequel, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Please buy our game. Prequel time, baby! You see the villain, Skullface, aka the Hamburglar, aka also the guy who blew up your base and put you in a coma. Anyway, he flies off. Then you climb up a cliff and speak to literally no one once up on the cliff. Kept your cheese drippy, huh? Your mission this time around is to rescue Paz and Chico, who were captured by the enemy. They're also kids. Did you have child soldiers before the whole base explosion thing? The answer is most likely. Anyway, you find Chico and choke him out because he's being a little bit too loud. Then you slam him on a helicopter. Then you find Paz and stealthily escape. Once you leave, Chico finds a bomb on Paz. Why did the medic not perform a medical check immediately? But you performed the nicest surgery to look at and almost spill her guts everywhere. Literally. But get the bomb out. But what's that? The Hamburglar attacked your base while you were gone. That's no good. Yeah, in the span of what I assume was a couple hours, your entire militia somehow fell. Which, yeah, they have these guys. But you have an actual army with the latest tech in the world. But anyway, you help some people escape, then find out Paz had another bomb somewhere, I guess.
They played us like a damn fiddle! Fiddle!
And so she leaves, and you get in a small accident, leading to the beginning of the game. Now that you've come back to reality, Kat says the funny line,
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
and you go back to Mother Base. After arriving on Mother Base, you get the most boring tutorial on how to run the base. Then try to see how to hang off ledges, but hit this button instead of this one, and have to repeat the whole tutorial. Anyway, you do it again, and head out to do some more missions. For the next couple missions, in order, you kill a dude in his sleep, blow up some comms equipment stealthily, find a small dog, some might say a diamond dog, and make a human dog pile. You then get hired by some totally normal people that are definitely not the feds to find an experimental weapon, wink wink. You get there and find said weapon, only to have some ominous fog roll in and get grabbed by a big hand. Then Skullface shows up and rants about how he could kill you, but he won't. So you go blasting with your homing launcher and kill his skull unit instead. After this, your dog wants to go to war with you. Unsurprisingly though, it's not big enough yet, as it's been exactly 2 days. You then take a quick shower because you are no monster. And in the next mission, you have to eliminate 3 commanders by boxing it up. Then, while exploring and doing a side mission, accidentally come across a boss fight against a sniper named Quiet, who breathes out her skin. Trust me guys, this is completely necessary. Please Kojima, please don't scan my feet. Anyway, you spend the next 30 minutes crawling, only for her to run to the other side of the map, so you say fuck it, and go up a tower, and just shoot her a bunch. You then put her on your helicopter, and she escapes. Never mind, she was invisible on the helicopter, and helps to take out the jet that's been after you, by doing probably the hardest shot you could actually imagine doing. And then you imprison her once you get back to your base, to make sure she's on your side. You then continue your other missions that you were supposed to complete before that fight by extracting a Mujahideen, who thinks you guys are pretty chill, kill a colonel and his tanks, and help some guerrillas by blowing up some vehicles. Now you gotta save this guy named Emmerich, who can't walk, but has robot legs, so he can walk. But he gets bullied and pushed down some stairs by Skullface. So now you gotta go rescue him, but at a different location. So you go over there, and a Pringles can asks if you're Snake when you're right there. And then you kidnap the doctor and sprint to your helicopter. Only to have another exposition from the Hamburglar. Then he just kinda leaves, and you have to stealth your way to a different rescue point. Don't worry, I did this quickly. You can tell by the fact that it's night in the cutscene and daytime once I leave. So you get in the helicopter and tell the robot to leave. So it does. Torture time. Yeah, you really gotta get some information out of Emmerich. So, you do this. Very nice to look at. It's jungle time. And that means heading over to the local gas station, turning it off, finding a bunch of weird bodies that might be important to the plot, and then smoking a cigarette while fueling up your car. Next, you save some people you were not hired to save. Steal some robots. Visit Quiet. Turns out she is the equivalent to a plant, as she drinks water and breathes through her skin, and uses the sun to make her food. She then shoots a helicopter that costs a lot of money. After that little dip in the bank account, you decide to steal a truck with some goods in them. But uh-oh, it's those skull guys again, so you shoot them with some very convenient guns. And then leave with said truck. What's that? The truck had a bunch of copper in it? Damn. Oh wait, there was also materials to make a nuke in there. Fuck yeah. Later on, you decide to save some people again, but in your fanciest attire. Save one guy, then save the other, but you have to carry him this time. Then you have to go and kill 6 people so that they don't snitch. So you kill the first guy, then sneak over to the other 5. What's that? The other 5 are kids? Oh well. Nah, you didn't kill them, but the client sure thinks you killed them, so you bring them back to base to raise them, then take a hit off of your vape. Now you gotta kill this guy called the Major, so you shoot him and then crawl away. Emmerich is back in the hot seat, and he says he can develop a weapon for you, which would be called the Battle Gear. You say yes, as you're one step closer to creating your true dream, Gurren Lagann. And after rescuing those kids, they hire you with their oodles of shiny knickknacks. And you have to go to this hospital, but are blocked by some dudes. After getting by, you notice a lack of forces in the area, and think, man, this is like the perfect place for a boss fight. But then you find the kid that you were hired to. Turns out they've been injecting some really weird music. Pretty hardcore. The Hamburglar shows up again. Says that he's gonna kill you, of course. Then leaves so that the fireman can kill us instead. So you put some water on him, then kidnap him, because whatever the enemy owns, we actually own. And then we leave. For the next 2 missions, I actually played through and then realized I wasn't recording, and didn't want to play the missions again. So now you get to see my rendition of what happened. First, we were tasked with eliminating this official who was meeting with a gun dealer, so you expertly shoot him. And the other mission was to retake one of your base platforms as it was taken over, so you shoot some people and then take out their commander. Alright, back to normal gameplay. You were then tasked with taking out the commander of some child soldiers named the White Mamba, who also happens to be one of your sons. So you tell him off in a fatherly manner, and then take him to your helicopter, where he instantly manspreads. Then you break his arm for doing this. There will be no manspreading in this household. Vape time. Hold up, rewind that. It takes 20 minutes for your son to walk from here to here. Maybe he should work on his stamina training a little bit. With that done, it's time for some random missions, including rescuing 2 prisoners. Hold up. Quiet. Help those people get back up. Thank you. Let's continue. Kidnapping a child soldier commander who defected, and the prisoner who they took with them when defecting. Pick up an intel file to find where a human trafficker is, and then kill him and his group. And lastly, rescue the intel team member who has intel on the epidemic in your base. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the epidemic. So basically, there's this vocal cord virus that infected your base, so you quarantine like half the people in your base, and this guy should have the information to help save them. Anyway, you get bored of waiting for the helicopter, so you play hacky sack with him, and he tells you about an old man who can treat the virus. Then get challenged to gladiatorial combat by your kid again. Unfortunately for him, I don't care about him, so I don't hold back on putting him in his place. It's time you found out how to cure the virus. Well, technically, you found the guy who can, so you gotta kidnap him. Once you drop in, you find some sniper zombie-like people, thanks Kojima, and snipe them. Then walk into the mansion with minimal casualties. Then listen to the old dude in the basement, cause he told you to shut the fuck up, or you would die. Then you smoke some pot, and he says, you can speak now. Thus, you hang him on your shoulders and get into a helicopter. And then find out that he can cure everyone, but no more babies are allowed for anyone. Then go into a giant rust cloud that rusts your helicopter into rust, and have to take out armored zombie people in order to get another helicopter off of Amazon. Once you take them out, you get that helicopter and go back to base, where he instantly cures your whole base. Torture time, again. You threaten Emmerich with the rust that turns things to rust, because he has a metal hip. And he tells you where the Hamburglar will strike next, and thus leave him with the rust syringe, because he didn't tell you about this earlier. Now it's back to Afghanistan, this time going to the inconspicuous and only area we haven't gone to yet, in order to get Skullface before he unleashes Sahelanthropus on the world. So you sneak into the base and meet face to face with him and kind of trip out a little bit. We then walk and talk about our opinions, otherwise known as the villain's monologue, about their evil plan and their motives. So basically, Skullface used to speak a different language where he originally came from, but then Americans invaded, killed, and forced their heritage on them. Then he explains that he isn't planning on making English the only language left, like we thought, but actually the opposite by making English cease to exist, and thus taking his revenge on those who wronged him. You then have a staring contest for a couple of minutes before he says time to die, and sends the man on fire at you. But then he walks under the giant robot because he kind of felt like it. And Skullface tells us his favorite characters in the Dr. Seuss books. Now it's big final robot boss time. After finally defeating the big robot that can maybe be piloted by a human, and leaving Skullface to die, God damn it, Emmerich! You triumphantly go back to base to celebrate with your crew. What's that? You bring the giant robot with you. Yes, my plans are coming to fruition. But with that, this marks the end of the game. Everything's wrapped up, and the game is ready to end. You built your army, and are ready to face the music of the world. Is what I'd like to say, but there's actually a chapter 2. Yeah, this game was going to be a lot longer actually. The reason I say was going to is because unfortunately Kojima was promptly fired before the game was released, so the remaining developers quickly whipped up chapter 2. But I gotta say, chapter 2, not as bad as people say. You know, I actually quite enjoyed it. Just kidding, you thought I was gonna say that. Nah, this is horrible. Most of it's repeat missions that are stupid and dumb, and I'm not good enough at the game to do most of them, so I'm just gonna speedrun through only the important stuff so you don't have to suffer like I did. Go capture a CIA mole and find out that he has no information. Then you get your battle gear finally finished, but you can't even use it in the field. Awesome. Then you launch the Pringles can AI like a missile towards your base. I also assume you have one of those grabby hand robot things to catch it like a baseball so that it doesn't hit your base. And then you go get the body of the fireman, but he's actually still kinda alive. And is actually Volgin, a villain from hit game Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, a game that I would much rather be playing right now. and you kind of just put him in your base and he kind of just chills there for the rest of the game. Then Code Talker says to go get his research so he can research those parasites. After that, Quiet jumps into a vat of chlorine disinfectant and dies. Just kidding. She dies later. Torture time again. Quiet edition. You try to get her to talk, but she can't talk. She actually can, though. And you find out that she has the English strain of the vocal parasite, but shh! The only people who know are Code Talker and her. Then find some wonderful art that would inspire any soldier for your cause, and find a film canister with some information on it.
Your job is to wipe them out.
Yes, Miller. Turns out your kid was trying to rebel against you and was recruiting your soldiers behind your back. Damn kid, this is why I left all those years ago. He breaks my rules, and then breaks out. No! My robot! And then also steals my helicopter. What the hell, man? Apparently the English strain of the virus got out, so your quarantine island is kinda fucked. Also, you have no idea what's actually going on there, because everyone you send is just dying, so you go in yourself. Yeah, everyone's infected, and you can't cure them or let them out, so you're tasked with the heavy decision to kill them all, which is patriotic as hell. Epic walk down hallway. Then at their funeral later, you...
It's your fault! They're dead because of you!
What the hell, man? This is a funeral. Ashes, yum. And then you say one of the best lines in the game.
You're all diamonds.
Next you see Ocelot copying your lines from a previous game.
They're trying to dampen the recoil. You do that with a revolver. Engravings give you no tactical advantage whatsoever. There was some fancy shooting. Pretty good.
Looking you dead in the eyes, then leaves. It's finally time, everyone's fed up with Emmerich, and you do the only rational thing.
Guilty! All counts.
Nah, you send him on a life raft in order to get rid of him, even though he should have died, because like, he did help with the whole blowing up of your base, also killed his wife, and experimented on his kid. Yeah, he kinda sucks. Anyway, you find Quiet, who's drinking water, and then get hit by a tank shell. And then have to sneak out. But you get bit by a snake, which like, I think you should have been prepared for that.
Pretty tasty.
But then Quiet talks activating her parasite,
The boss is with me.
and then leaves, so no one else gets infected. Time for the final mission. This is the mission that no one actually really likes, because you find out you aren't actually Big Boss. Yeah, that's right. This whole time, you were actually the medic who was on the helicopter at the same time as the boss, and just had plastic surgery, and was gaslit into thinking that you were the boss. And with that, it marks the end of the game. For real this time. Big Boss rides away on his bike, and you punch a mirror, all epic-like. I just want to say, if the Konami executives are watching, I would recommend looking directly at a 100,000 lumen flashlight and permanently blinding yourself for the disservice of not letting this game be fully completed. On top of Hideo Kojima just not wanting to make this game on account of wrapping up the series in the previous and much better game.
Man, I'm Big Boss. And you are too. No, he's the two of us together.